Hello, welcome, and we are going to tell you something about the Dutch business culture. We are having a briefing about it. My name is Gijs.
My name is Deniz.
My name is Luc.
My name's Youri.
And my name's Ibrahim.
Yes, Youri is a timekeeper, and now I'm giving the word to Ibrahim.
Hello, my name is Ibrahim, and thank you for the word. I'm going to tell you something about appearances. In the Dutch business culture, it's trending to dress fairly conservative, and that means there are standard styles which you can use, like women and men. Yeah, well, it depends on the environment you're in. If you're in a very formal environment, you most of the time you wear suits and ties, and women they choose most of the time to wear a dress. But in an informal environment, they mostly just dress very casual. That means you can just open neck shirts, jeans. That's yes, that's the way of dressing around there. Colors, you can choose which color you want to use. That means you can just stand up and choose gray with green. Doesn't matter, just how you want to wear. Depends on the environment, as I said. Women, the younger women generation in particular, may wear trousers, even trouser suits. When in doubt, the dress code for a particular business event, it's advisable to be well dressed. So that means you're in a uniform or in a dress. Sometimes the choice of clothing will determine by means of transport of work. So if you're in very formal business, you will rather wear a suit than just a t-shirt or something like that. If you're unsure about the dress code, it's always very wise to just ask one of your former colleagues because they can help you, and it's normal in the Dutch just to ask your colleagues about advice or what to wear and how to wear it. So there's no shame of that. So that was the appearance. So that means you can. It depends really on your environment and the way you want to dress yourself. So if you're in a informal environment, you can really just pick what you want. And if you're in a formal environment, you rather would want to wear a suit than just an easy t-shirt. And that's what I had to say. And now I would like to give my word to my former colleague, Deniz.
Yes, thanks, Ibrahim. I'm going to tell you something about behavior. In Dutch business culture, a handshake is a usual form of greeting in the Netherlands, accompanied by an appropriate phrase, like, for instance, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. In business meetings with a number of people, when there are a number of people present, it's also perfectly normal to circle the room and shake everyone's hand. Usually, you will always pronounce or tell your name and your last name. Usually, you also take business cards with you, as they might be exchanged at the beginning of a meeting. And the Dutch like to, they usually kiss on the cheeks 3 times, from right, left, and back to right. But this is only done when people know each other very well. Men among themselves usually just stick with the handshaking. In the end of a meeting, it's also customary to shake hands afterwards. And if you enter a closed office, you don't just walk into someone's office without knocking first. It's very inappropriate in the Netherlands. Then the conversation itself. During a conversation, the Dutch expect rather intensive eye contact. Looking somebody straight in the eyes is very convincing and trustworthy. When talking to one another, you don't interrupt them as they speak. The Dutch also appreciate it if you have your own opinion. Having your own opinion, means that you're very active in thinking in solutions, which is always good. A little joke or small talk can often be used to break the ice in the opening or in a tense situation. And lastly, The intimate zone of most Dutch people tend to be around 50 centimeters. Foreigners may be surprised that the chairs are set relatively far apart during a business meeting, but this is to give everyone a safe space in order to feel comfortable and in order to make sure that the people say what they want to say. Being too close to each other could mean that some contribution or information gets suppressed, which makes sure that a lot of information is lagging. But in general, if you remain yourself, you won't expect any problems whatsoever. That was my part on behavior.
Yes. Well, now it's my turn. My name is Youri, and I'm going to tell you something about entertainment. As first, I want to talk about where business people in the Netherlands like to go to. In the Netherlands, people tend to go to places like a restaurant to have a meeting, a bit of entertainment. They also like to go to grab a cup of coffee and sit there for a half hour. But in the Netherlands, it's also used that they will invite you to an event like a football game or so a football game something, but not something with too much energy and not too much music, so that you can talk to each other. But that's also very common in the Netherlands. The next thing I'm going to tell you something about is the advice of gifts you can give people. In the Netherlands, the Netherlands people like to know something about other cultures. They like to visit other cultures. They like to go to other places. So I can advise you to give something from your own country, something special, which really says from something they know, which is very special to that country. So I think they will very like that, and I think that's the best advice I can give you, and I think they will really appreciate if you give something like that. Next thing I want to talk about is good or bad topics of a conversation. When you're in a kind of sphere where there is a lot of small talk, so you don't really talk about the work. People like to go to talk about sports, other kind of things they like, so like their hobbies or something like that. Bad topics you might want to avoid is to be very intimate topics. It's not so smart to talk about very soon. Another thing I can tell you about the entertainment in the Netherlands is, if you have free time, you can go to Amsterdam. It's very much people like very much the capital of the Netherlands, and you can also take some of the business associates there because they will like it, and it's a very nice city. Yeah, that was my part about the entertainment, and now I'm going to give the word to Gijs, who's going to talk about the meetings.
Yes, I'm going to tell you something about the meetings. When stepping into a meeting, Dutch people prefer to give each other a firm handshake while maintaining eye contact with the other person. About the punctuality, for meetings, arrive on time, and a little too late is not okay. And if you're 5 minutes too late, then call the people you have a meeting with to let them know that you'll be a little late. If you're more than 15 minutes late, then reschedule the meeting. So whatever it costs, make sure you'll be on time to give people a good impression. And in the meeting, don't interrupt the other person because that's very rude. A person's status is quite important in the meeting, and the most senior person is expected to lead the meeting. About the decision making, it's commonly done by the most senior people in the company, and showing respect for seniority is essential for maintaining strong business relationships when doing business in Holland. Dutch decision making is quite fast, and Dutch people like clarification for fast decision making. That was my part, and now I would like to give the word to Luc.
Yes, my name is Luc. I'm going to talk about the business practice. The usual business hours for working in the Netherlands is usually between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. It depends on if you work from 8 a.m. you normally work to 16 a.m. or 16:30, or at its latest 17 or 17:30 p.m. But in your working day, you normally have 2 small breaks or 1 big break. 2 small breaks means you normally have to around 15 minutes, or you have 1 break, which is normally 30, or in some companies 1 hour. Compared to other cultures, the culture of the Netherlands is especially explicit. We like to go straight to the point. We don't want to talk something around or how you say it.
Wonder about.
Yeah, we don't want to wonder about. We want to be honest with each other, and we want to talk directly what we mean and what we think about the situation.
Very straightforward.
When you have questions in the Netherlands, it's normal to go to step quickly to the direction of someone that's above you. Sometimes in big companies, you first go to HR, human resources. You tell them your problem, and you have a big chance you can go to the board to explain your problem, and they can help you with that. In other cultures, like for example in America, you really have a differential leverage between the power of the board and the employees, which it's not so easy for the employee to go to the board. In the Netherlands, it's normal, for example, or what I just told, for an appointment with the board, it's normal to make an appointment well ahead, so you can so you have time to prepare for what you're gonna tell them. Like Gijs already told, it's you must be on time. If you are only 2 seconds too late, it's not acceptable. You have to be on time. Like in Spanish cultures, you make an appointment and it doesn't come on the minute. But in the Netherlands, it's really you need to be on time. Also, the last point, in the Netherlands, decision making is based on consensus. Everyone gets involved in the decision making. When everyone gets the chance to give their opinion about a situation, the direction board is going to take all those opinions in, and based on that conclusion of all the opinions, a decision will be made for the problem or the situation that's playing. The negative side on that is that it takes a lot of time because you need to get everyone's opinion about it. So that's pretty much the basic of the business life.
Yeah, this was our meeting. Gijs is going to close it.
I'm going to close it. Yes. I hope we informed you enough about what's acceptable and what to do and what not to do. I would like to thank you for your time, and see you next time.